Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Astroneer Glitchwalker series. Today we pick up the action where we left off. We had successfully, I don't know, is unhacked a word? The first gateway here on Aeolus. And we collected some storm data and, did all that other good stuff in the previous episode. Today we are going to be moving that Glitchwalker storyline further forward. So strap yourself in, get your hacker-proof underwear on, and yeah, let's see where we get to today. Alright, today's episode is going to be a bit of a consolidation effort. We have essentially done everything we needed to get our level 1 all done, unlocked, unhacked, all that other good stuff. Now we are going to be working on some improvements that have come from the technology that we have unlocked. I've just slowed this down a bit if you want to have a bit of a read. This burn book is what we found connected to that gateway. And it's a, bit of a story about hackers and all that other good stuff. It's not much particularly relevant to what we're doing at the moment. So, but that's there. We can hang on to that one for later reference if we need it. We are going to be having a bit of a quick look at our tech tree here in a moment. Quite a number of recipes have now become available, and we are now very aware that we're going to need to gather a lot of bytes. So we're going to be doing that, but first we're going to have a bit of an explore. We have a need to sort of get the lay of the land here. We need to go and see if we can find some other resources that we're going to need. I'm going to say within a few episodes, more than what I've pre-recorded, which for reference is this episode plus another 2 more, we are going to want not just a buggy, we're going to want a fairly good-sized buggy to allow for, I'll say, an easier run at some of the later storms, because we do need to cover a lot of ground to get to them, and we want the convenience of being able to, drive around on a buggy and have some additional tech with us to help us along the way. I won't disclose exactly what that is going to be, but it is something that I do fairly routinely, even outside of the Glitchwalker content. It's actually a pretty nice configuration for the pardon me, for the large rover. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, but for anyone else who's not that familiar with it, I will go through all of that in appropriate detail once we get to that point. But that is going to be, I would say, at least 3 episodes away at this stage. We do have a bit that we can get done between now and then, and primarily this episode, it is going to be about gathering the materials we need to get ourselves prepared to do the next run at the next storm. So the next storm is the Delta Storm. And it is going to, well, it's going to be probably a broadly similar experience to the first storm, the Alpha Storm, except I get the impression that, I don't know, there might be some other complications with it to make it a bit harder. And I know, incidentally, that we will need a lot more storm data with each successive storm. So part of our preparation efforts, we're going to want to make a portable decipher as well. So that is something else that I'll look at making once we get a decent sized buggy set up. For the moment, the resource that we're gathering a lot of right now is laterite, so that we can make ourselves a good sized tractor and get out and about and do some proper exploring. Now, while I'm gathering up some resources here, there is something I noticed in this particular area. Proportionally speaking, there is a bucket load of resin compared to compound. This episode, I seem to find enough. Next episode, I didn't do too badly, but by the episode after that, I was having to, go out a bit before I was finding a new supply of compound. So, yeah, that's pretty relevant because depending on your method of exploration, and I do end up doing quite a bit on foot, which means I'm using quite a lot of tethers, and yeah, you need compound to make tethers. So probably the only advice I'd have is if Aeolus is I'll say a fixed seed, so if there's no randomness to it, my initial advice so far, to be sure, would be to just be a little bit careful about your compound usage. I mean, there is ways of getting more. I mean, you can use a soil centrifuge to get more, but yeah, just in the early part before you can actually, get around to making a soil centrifuge, it's probably a good idea just to be a little bit mindful of your compound use. Anyway, that aside, everything else we're finding decent amounts of. I'm having a bit of a look around here, and yeah, sure enough, there's a bit of compound over that way as well. But that's not what I'm looking at here. At this point, I'm evaluating getting down to that malachite, and I've realised I'm a bit low on tethers, so I want to try and get these tethers down as far as I can, and then that way it's not going to be quite such a mad dash to get back on the tether line if I run out of power or run out of oxygen. Yeah, just grabbing a bit of clay as well. We are going to end up using a bit of ceramic along the way. So, yeah, already down here, got a couple of spare slots, why not? Now, with all of that in tow, we are heading back to base to see what kind of upgrades we can make for ourselves to, yeah, make our day a little bit less work, hopefully. Alright, I just had a bit too much, sitting around waiting for stuff to finish, so I thought I'd chop a bit of that smelting time out, and we're moving straight on to starting to print our tractor. We're going to get a tractor and a couple of trailers going, a very similar sort of setup to what we used back on Calidor as part of our successful gathering of storm data. There's going to be a few little amendments to it, but essentially one tractor with, 2 or 3 trailers and utilising, in this case, we're going to be utilising a medium generator for power because that will provide 9 units of power. Ruby only needs 5, so a little bit of overkill there, but we're going to want to allow for the portable decipher as well, plus having a little bit of extra space. Now, the medium generator thing is a bit of a spoiler because we don't actually get that happening just yet. We ended up unlocking a medium wind turbine and making one of those because they do produce 5 units of power, which is exactly what Ruby needs. And the initial plan was to just have these generators there to, for backup in case I need it. But then I was thinking, oh, that's so inefficient for, space and whatnot. So instead, a little bit later this episode, or possibly early the following episode, is when I elect to go down the medium generator line. Now, we have our rootkit. Actually, no, we don't. We've done our alpha one, that's right. And we've got all of our storm data, so we are fully unlocked for level 1 protection. For Delta, we need to find another data cache vault thing, and we need to hack our way into that, bring the key back here, and then we'll be looking at going to the Delta Storm. So we've got a little bit of work ahead of us. We don't know where the next vault is yet. We just want to get our buggy up and running so that if it turns out the vault is miles away, we're not going to, waste a lot of time getting to it. Now, in today's installment of what level of rudimentary type stupidity are we going to be viewing today? Yeah, that was it. So I activated the little radar because I was thinking, oh, the next vault is probably on the surface, and they are quite big and quite obvious. Look, I'll just drive in this direction until I see it. Yes, I'm already seeing a flaw in that plan, and that flaw is about to get uncovered when I do my next scan, because my next scan is basically going to say we've pretty much already driven past it. Yep, it's saying we need to go back that way. Now, only in editing have I noticed that the dish is actually pointing down. I thought it was only sort of indicating in a sort of two-dimensional plane. Yeah, no, it is actually pointing down. Now, the bit of stupid that yeah, that's exactly it. What I should have done when I did my scan is had my radar up, and then it would have added a little blip to show exactly where the next vault is. So, yeah, the next time I do a scan, you are going to see that pop up on my radar. And there you go. The little orange marker, which is basically 4 levels down. Now, it is worth noting that 4 levels is the most I think that the system can render as a plus or a minus from the plane that you're standing on. So I'm just assuming it's only 4 levels down. I'll let you decide through the various next couple of episodes whether 4 levels covers it, or you think maybe some bigger numbers would be more accurate. Anyway, I'm sort of thinking it's only just down here somewhere. Now, we don't have an oxygenator on the tractor, so I can't tether off it. So we're just blindly drilling down here as quickly as we can to see how far we can get. And we've come all this way, and we've maybe not quite taken one blip off it. So yeah, I'm gonna need a better setup to go downstairs. So we've already worked that out. Now, I don't know if I want to take the tractor down, simply because it's already going to take a long time to drill down that far. If I have to drill to make a wide enough path for the tractor as well, that is just not really going to be a good move. So at this stage, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to finish my little lap here just to get an idea of what other resources are around. Is there any other biomes that we need to be aware of? You know, all that kind of recon type stuff. We're going to finish this lap. We're going to head back to base, and then we're going to start looking at making a whole bunch of tethers so that we can just like hand drill down, pretty much a bit like we did when we went to the center of Silver. So, yeah, that's pretty much where it's at. Alright, I just cranked out a quick scan there just to see if there was any other hits. Apparently there is only the one vault, so yeah, we're still going to proceed according to plan. That is to say, go back, make a bunch of tethers, and then gradually drill our way down. Alright, we're going through our important list of things we need. We need a canister or two to help us with resources for the building of ramps. I'm going to take 3 again, simply because I have heard things about some of the caverns in Aeolus, and I'm prepared to say that some of them might be a little bit deeper than some of the ones that we saw on Silver. So we're going to prepare for that eventuality. So yeah, we've got 3 canisters. We already know we're going to be drilling down, so we're going to work on a better drill mod. So if we get stuff that's super hard, we won't be in a position where we won't be able to drill through it and have to come back up again. Yes, we've very much learnt our lesson in our previous adventures with Silver. Now, in addition to a drill mod, we are also going to use the glass that we're going to smelt from that quartz to make ourselves a basically an oxygen bottle. So if we ever are off tether for a unforeseen event, we've got essentially a double up of our oxygen supply to, hopefully grant us the extra time to get back to the tether if in case of emergencies. Anytime you're digging down, never consider that a waste of space. It will save you bacon 9 times out of 10. Except, plot twist, we can't. The oxygen tank is actually still hacked at the moment, so we are going to have to do without it, at least for the time being. Sorry about that, bit of a fake out on that one. So we are, when it comes time to digging down into Aeolus, we are going to be very, very careful with our digging. Alright, as ordered, that is a whole mess of tethers. That also brings us to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to consider subscribing if you are not already subscribed. Until next time, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you have yourself an absolutely fantastic day.